It's a pretty good start for only a few hours into it so far. Hey folks, how you doing out there today? I have some pretty darn good news. I think everyone's going to be kind of excited to hear, we'll say. And that is that we are going to be going from map 1 of the Highway Haulin 2 region over to map 2. Now, temper expectations. I've just started on it. Probably 6-8 hours at this point. So I don't want you to expect too much yet, but I do have a good chunk of tasks written, kind of roughed out, and I'm adding these areas into the map first. We're going to go from one end of the map 1 highway all the way to the other end of the map 2 highway. Maybe stop by one of the places on the new map and just kind of have a general look at what's coming. Now, before I get too far into it, I did want to throw out a quick thanks that I forgot in a previous video. But first, out to Bognar Istvan and also to James Williams. Thank you two so much for the donations. Really appreciate it. I'll keep working hard for you, guarantee. Now, another nice treat we're having today is that we're taking out the new Freight Lion. I see what you're doing there, Iceberg, which is a new mod, just been out for a couple days from Iceberg. Obviously a Freightliner, and we're going to see how this thing runs. I pretty much guarantee it's going to be a good rig. I don't remember a bad one coming from Iceberg, so I figured we'd haul this big rocket trailer, because I'm going to be completely honest with you, it's going to be worked into the next map. We're going to have a couple fairly big hauls, and this is going to be one of them. I just want to use every single large trailer in the game by the time we're done building this region is basically my goal. I mean, we're running highway miles on some of it. There are some tough trails that I'll probably send you up with, maybe some of the bigger trailers, but I really do want to make a whole bunch of big hauls and, you know, loads that you're going to want to double stack and take your chance, especially because you're running on the highway. So as long as you don't go too fast and flip it, in theory you should be able to haul quite a bit in one load, even if you have it double stacked and some of it's loose. That's going to be the hook on this one, I'm sure. So there are going to be some changes on this first map coming up with the region version. I'm going to, more than anything, I'm going to add a few more things in that are going to kind of coincide with tasks that are going to be on this second map. Basically, at this point, I've got it hammered out into a few major builds, and then I'm just going to fill it in with some little odds and sods tasks. But first objective, not necessarily the first one you have to tackle. And just to interrupt what I'm saying here real quick, I have not tested this gateway. So you're coming along for the ride on the first shot. I just threw it together real quick. One thing to note, when you saw that list, the warning before we went through the tunnel, I didn't make these gateways full size, and me with the truck and the trailer are bigger than the zone on the other side. So the game's warning me that it might not work. If you've ever wondered why you see that warning, that's completely it. That's a horn honk of celebration because we coded everything in properly and it worked. So we are officially on map 2 here. Now, back to what I was saying about the tasks. The first part is going to be, we're going to use some of the drill rigs and the refinery, and I'm going to have a bit of a pipeline repair. So in essence, this task is going to be kind of like an old oil rig setup. We're going to be, an old factory refinery. We're going to set up a rig. We're going to fix an old pipeline, get everything going, repeatable fuel tasks to use in the region later on and in a few other areas. Like I say, the drill rigs as well as the refinery are going to be basically building them, stocking them, bringing a few other things over, and then basically delivering what stuff is going to come out of those builds. In the background there is going to be a port. You can't quite see it because the hill. It's going to match up with the first map. Basically, consider it the other side of the lake. This highway, I'm trying to make it sync up so it's a little more symmetry when you go map to map. Next thing we're looking at is I want to put in like an off-road park kind of destination camping type area, and I've kind of brainstormed a few tasks that we can do to kind of build up the trails and stuff. I have a few ideas that I think are going to be fun, and it's going to be a good role-playing opportunity. This is just going to be a little stop on the side of the highway, rest stop kind of deal, grab some fuel. Probably going to be the easiest fuel stop out of the two maps because it is along the highway. The other ones you have to go into a town, and I think this is going to be the only fuel station on this map. There's going to be one you can open up in the back 40 out there, which is the right hand side, but it's going to be over in the far corner kind of deal. So this one is definitely going to be a little more thought into your fuel situation. Like I said, this rocket and some of the associated parts are going to be a delivery back to map 1. I have a bit of a plan to work out a reason for hauling these things. It is a little bit tough. Don't feel like trying to do the whole rocket launch animation setup. I'm not totally sure how they put it all together. Sure, I could figure it out, but it's slightly intimidating that way. We're going to have a railroad, which I think we're just going to run over and see it, but it's going to be a point of a few tasks, probably a repeatable task or two, as well as a loading area over on this side. I was thinking of adding another crafting station on this map. I've seen in the comments a lot of you mention that they're good kind of storage areas for a different map. Now this map is going to introduce at least one, probably two more craftable items you're going to need to make to complete the map tasks. So it may be helpful to have one over on this map as well, although that doesn't mean that the stuff you need for it isn't on the first map. I do plan on putting a gravel pit in this one. I've had a lot of folks pipe up and say that they really enjoy kind of hauling those big heavy loads. The near north was one that was suggested, kind of that cutback that I have in it, the switchback. So I'll do something to that effect, and we can use that as a source for like deliveries to the concrete factory, things like that won't be life-changing tasks, but just little fill-in ones, and they're repeatable tasks. So if you do want to exist in the world a bit longer and you're finished all the missions, don't want to restart, there are a few more deliveries. Basically, I'm hoping in the end there'll be 15 or 20 repeatable tasks that you can kind of mess around, take different areas, and just enjoy it a bit more if that's what you're looking for. I do want to work in, and I'm going to work in some of the Season 11 stuff with, I had mentioned previously, maybe a reality type show based around the oil stuff or something like that, where you're going to be delivering some of those things. One thing I'd brainstormed, we'll have to see, but those set pieces, the big building looking ones, I was wondering if maybe I could use one of those to like reface a building or something, kind of play around with how it builds. I'm gonna have to do some testing, but just trying to think of ideas that are a little bit different from what we usually do. Coming up here, we're just hauling up to the railroad. Now this is going to be probably the most populated area of this map. This isn't really going to even have towns as big as the first map. It's going to be kind of one of those open areas along the highway that's going to have some of these things that are back out in the wilderness more when you head to the other side of the highway. So there's going to be a bunch of cabins and single houses and stuff like that, but no real big congregations. It's going to be a little bit more open landscape, a little more off-roading, keeping it still vanilla friendly, challenging, but should be able to be done. Another thing I'm going to work into this, because I haven't actually done it, we're going to do a train haul. My thoughts were I may try to work it in so it's blocking a road that you want to use, so you have to move it anyways. It's kind of an idea, but I'm definitely going to give you a pretty decent long train pull mission, because again, never done it. Want to work all the fun stuff in everything that I can into this new highway Haulin region with the knowledge I've gained from building the last one. So if you have ideas, and many of you have, keep throwing them down there. I may not get back to you on the comments right away, but I do read all of them, and I try to get back to everyone. It takes more time than you'd ever think, but I get so many great ideas and motivation from you guys. I'm always trying to rip through them when I have time, and I try to get back to everyone. If I miss you, I am sorry. Hit me up with another message and I'll get you next time, I promise. I don't do it on purpose. Anyways, let me know what you think. Glad to have this up and going, and I'll have a new update out soon. Thanks for watching.